we'll call to order the first meeting of November for the Town of Liberty Grove Board of Supervisors. The clerk will note all supervisors are present, in addition to the administrator and the clerk treasurer. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. If you've got cell phones, if you wouldn't mind putting them on vibrate or turning them off so it's not to interrupt the meeting, that would be appreciated. And a reminder to the board to speak into the microphones. Would you please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You have any changes to the agenda? So I'll make a motion to proceed with the agenda as presented. Is there a second? Second. All in?
Could we maybe not do correspondence, save it till the next meeting, we usually do it at the second meeting? Unless you really want correspondence on.
I'll withdraw myself. I think we award Mr. Collins a gold star.
No, Blue Star.
Blue star, okay. We will dispense with the correspondence. That's a dream come true. All right, now I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, sans the number 12 correspondence.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion is carried. All right, we have the minutes of the 10-5 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those? Seeing none, I'll move their approval as presented. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Go ahead.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Excuse me, we have the special board meeting on the same date. I'll make the motion to approve as presented. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor? Indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And then we have the special board meeting of, and this was the one with the Finance Committee of September 27th. Any corrections, additions? Seeing none, I'll make the motion to approve the, excuse me, special board meeting of the Finance Committee of September 27th. All in, is there a second?
I'll second it for you.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, motion carried. I think we have one more. We have the special board meeting then of October 12th. And I'll make a motion to approve those as presented.
Second.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Yeah, we got one more. This is the meeting, special board meeting of October 18th. I'm getting hoarse. Is somebody else?
I'll make a motion to approve special board meeting minutes of October 18th, 2016.
I'll second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, thank you. Payment of bills. Any questions?
No, make a motion to pay the bills as itemized, I guess.
I'll second that.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Janet, treasurer's report, please.
Okay. The municipal checking account, now this is for the month ending in September. Municipal checking account began with a balance of $489,527.61. Transfer to checking and interest brought that balance at the end of September to $139,572.23. The money market account, $633,723.32. After interest, the balance is $633,801.45. In the checking account, we began with a balance of $39,685.20. With deposits, less FICA, state withholding, payroll, and disbursements, the balance in that account is $136,838.26. Utility district has $566,815.45, with a balance at the end of September in all town accounts of $1,477,027.39.
Any questions, anybody else? I'll move then to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, consider ordinance 916, no parking on Highway 42 at the Grandview Hill. You have copies of that resolution. Bud, you want to explain why we are going to have this resolution complete?
Well, we have issues there every fall when the colors come out, and the people don't utilize the parking that's been set up down the road, at least the entrance to get into the parking and get over to the where the parking is. So what's happening is we got tons of people running across the road, parking on both sides of the road, parking in the Grandview parking lot, and all over the place. In order to try to enforce some no parking there has to be an ordinance. So the DOT probably wouldn't do one because we had to do an ordinance for no parking in front of the Kirschvent place down across from Church Automotive. So in order to have any kind of teeth for something there for no parking, we would have to do an ordinance. So we'll do this ordinance and inform the county highway department, the sheriff's department, the DOT, and see where it goes.
Questions?
Do those pictures work out, Jim? Okay, I took 34 photos that weekend, and I'd like to comment on some of them. This was at, granted, Fall Festival weekend, and you can just go through up to the next one. Just shows the type of parking that was there, both sides of the road, cars coming and going. Go ahead with the next one. People crossing the road, dogs crossing the road.
Next one.
More people,
We got
dogs, traffic coming and going. And, is there anything more? Service vehicles. I think there's one picture on there that shows, there is definitely signage, Grandview parking, which is being blissfully ignored. And then down the road, this is looking to the south, you have a weekly garage sale. And, you hate to say it, this is a respected citizen of Ellison Bay, but it's against ordinance. You can't have a garage sale every week, and that contributes also. And I'm wondering, really, how much good is yet another resolution for no parking going to do? Obviously, there are no parking signs. There's signage for alternate parking, and it doesn't matter. And I would go farther than to say it's fall colors. Yes, that's when it's the worst, but they're there year-round. It doesn't matter if it's winter, summer, the Welcome to Ellison Bay sign is there. It just invites people to stop and photograph. And what I would, I don't have any opposition to the town doing a resolution to put some teeth into the no parking that's there. Do I believe it's going to do any good? Not really. What I would like to see happen, and Bud, I've done up a sample resolution here, and I don't know, can the town do a certified resolution to request the state do something to mitigate the safety hazard that's there? That's what I would like to see done, and the way I worded the resolution, and it certainly is room for wordsmithing and improvement, is to outline every single entity, public entity that is up there contributing to the congestion and to the pedestrian traffic, and to state what the hazard is. You cannot, when you're southbound, see the crest of the hill and the pedestrian traffic. And to complicate matters, it's 45-mile-an-hour speed limit until you get down into the town and as soon as you get to the top of the hill. And I would like to see the town, if it's possible, do a certified resolution to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, detailing the problem, detailing the hazards, and requesting mitigation. My thought process on that is there then is something in writing from the municipality, with the support of the municipality, stating that there is a hazard there, and it's up to them to help fix it. It may be, my experience with the Department of Transportation is you don't get anywhere unless you dance on their heads. I'm prepared to dance, not physically, but I'm prepared to dance.
And, you know, and the one thing I always object to is somebody saying, well, you know, we tried something in the past and it doesn't work, whatever. But we tried something in the past and it doesn't work. When I was chair of the Parks and Property Committee, that was an agenda item that kept coming up over and over and over again. The result of what the Parks and Property Committee did, and it's exactly the same problem that we are facing now, were the big no parking circles along the road and the sign that says, that Nancy had in one of the pictures, the parking is down there. We're caught between a rock and a hard place in the sense that we cannot put anything on that property because the land trust does not allow for it. That's why the parking is way down on the other end, and understandably, people don't abide by it. It's way down the other end there. If we don't get to the heart of the matter, and we did discuss what the Department of Transportation might do, but we thought we would try this first. It doesn't work, and I think that's part of what the town needs to express to the DOT to say, look, we've done everything we could. Here are the parking symbols on the road, the parking down there, and it still doesn't seem to make any difference, and yet we have not eliminated the hazard that we have. And for us not to go this next step and make it incumbent on the Department of Transportation to realize we have a serious potential problem there is avoiding the issue.
And if I could add, and I detailed it in my sample resolution, the three things, two of which I feel are critical, that I think we should consider asking the DOT is to put cautionary signage on southbound traffic from the town that says hill blocks potential pedestrian traffic or something. Sort of like that little sign that's near, before that farm between Jacksonport and Mr. G's, hill blocks view of the driveway.
Cadillacs or something.
Somewhat, yeah. Something like that southbound, and then lower that speed limit from Porcupine Bay right down into town, 30 miles an hour. I did suggest putting a crosswalk in, but you notice I put a question mark after that because I know how the DOT is about crosswalks, and that might in their mind constitute an acceptance, if you will, of the hazard. But the first two, I think, are really critically important.
Okay, Carl, will have to wait for public input.
We're not asked, we can't address this thing before the,
Public input, please. Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to say that I pretty much agree exactly with you on this item. And, you know, you can put up all the parking signs you want, and you haven't addressed the problem. The reason I asked how much the appraisal was on that particular piece of property is, you know, if you purchase something like that and made it into a parking lot, you know, that's a step in the right direction. What we're doing now, the signage is a waste of time and money, and it's not gonna do anything towards mitigating the parking problem out there.
Okay, we've got a resolution before us, and I'm gonna request that, you want to put Nancy's, request on the next agenda and come up with an appropriate resolution for that, or communication to the Department of Transportation. So are there any questions now on the one before us?
Well, I guess if you're gonna make this to the state, that's not well defined right away. I think think we should refine that before you pass something, so when it goes to the state, it would be, you know, it doesn't, I don't think it works well. I could explain it in detail if you like, but.
This one isn't for the state, this is
This
But
is
start
strictly
start
municipal.
going to the state, I think if you started with,
No, this is strictly so that we can hand it on to the sheriff's department. Well, we can obviously hand it on to the state as well. I'm not sure why it isn't clearly
well, just a
defined.
couple of things, John.
Okay,
You know,
go
the
ahead.
right of way is 66 feet up there.
Correct.
I would assume. And I don't know how wide the pavement is, it's probably 12, 13 feet each lane,
12,
12.
probably.
And then it's got the shoulder another 4 feet, 5 feet over there. So we got 12 and 5 is 17, so 18 to be safe. And you take another 8 feet on for that, for the no parking, that's 26 feet. 26 from 33 leaves plenty of room to park. So it should define the right of way of the road, I think, from the beginning.
Didn't the state can understand right off the bat what the right of way is up there?
Well, they should be able to give you actually an accurate description of that space. I'm sure they have it. I don't think it makes much difference if you waited one meeting to.
So you're talking about defining the right of way?
Well, if you made it a statement such as, if you said, no parking on, let me think this out, no parking on Highway 42, State Highway 42, beginning at a point, and just define it as a latitude or something like that, and continuing northbound for 1,680 feet, or whatever that number was, 1,671 feet. You've included all the right-of-way and all possible parking along the whole length of the road there.
Let me play devil's advocate for just another couple of seconds here. If we've already got no parking signs up there, which are being totally ignored, if we do an ordinance, will that give the state an opportunity to just postpone and delay and ignore some more? I guess I'm thinking at this point in time, maybe wait till next meeting and go for the certified resolution and go right to the state and say, the no parking has not worked.
Well, there's certainly no big hurry now, because the season's over.
Right.
And we've got a little time to work on it, so if we, nothing else, we could take this to the Highway Safety Committee at the county level and see what they say there, because their DOT representative, the Highway Patrol is there. I've been there before with stuff, and a lot of times they just kind of ignore what you're doing and what you want. They have reasons why they don't want something done. They always want accident reports, or was anybody killed there, and stuff like that. So we looked, a couple of years ago, we looked to get the speed limit lowered in front of the general store or Dovetail Trading up there, because people come from Sister Bay, come flying around the corner, and then people are pulling out from car wash or whatever. But that didn't go anywhere either, because I guess they didn't have statistics on that one. But
Well,
let's take it to that committee and get the letter.
let me ask you this, since there is a convergence of like 5, possibly 6 public entities up there now, would it be to our advantage perhaps for the town to do a certified resolution to mitigate the safety hazard, and to see if we could get the land trust, the byways, the historical society, some of the other entities to buy in and take it from a group approach? We all see this as a hazard.
Certainly wouldn't hurt, right?
I don't recall, but maybe you could help. We put those giant no parking circles on the pavement. But is that because we couldn't put signs that said no parking right there? Or is it because we didn't want to spoil the aesthetics by putting more of those no parking? Kind of like when you go when going south and getting into Fish Creek, and there are a million no parking signs that really kind of ruin the aesthetics of it that way.
A combination of that, we thought maybe it would work, that people see it on the pavement there,
Right.
but they park right on top of
They
it.
park right on top, yeah.
And we did get the state to agree to cut a portion of that
But none of it's work.
The no parking signs do work before the colors come on. In other words, if people want to stop and take a picture, they don't park on the no parking signs like they were doing the last couple of weeks. What they do is they drive to Virginia's and park in front of her house. That way they're not parking on the no parking sign.
Correct. Yeah.
So I don't know, do you run her all the way to Porcupine Road? And then put no parking signs on the other side of the road too?
They're still gonna park.
They're still
They're still
doing
gonna
that.
park.
Yeah.
So you need a parking lot, but you need to take the people off
You
the
know,
highway.
I guess the other comment I would like to make is with regard to what Hugh said. If you put the parking area on the east side of the road, then you're gonna have people southbound stopping at the crest of the hill to make a left-hand turn.
And you're still.
And you know what happens to a left-hand turn in the middle of summer or during the high color season? There'll be cars parked, lined up all the way down in Dallas and back.
You know, from a strategic point of view, I kind of understand where Nancy's coming from in terms of the ordinance sort of giving the DOT an option to say, well, you know what, we just, let's see what happens now. When in fact, we did address this, but all those signs on the pavement, the parking space sign, to no avail. And that maybe it's best if we admit that we cannot really successfully deal with this by a no parking sign as opposed to the speed limit on the highway, that is. And the other things, the caution signs.
Do we have the authority to put a police presence on that hill? Like they do for the Historical Society, they hire a police vehicle to park in front of the Art and Craft Fair and Tractor Show to slow down traffic. Could we put a police vehicle in that no parking area right by Grandview? Would that,
Probably could, I would assume.
do we need something like this in order to,
Yeah, you need money.
well, yeah.
And it would seem like, you know, something that has a one-time
And
expense
it's
like
like
a
everybody's
sign.
expressing, if a few dollars as compared to some kid hit by a car as he crossing a road, or an adult, even a dog. Especially a dog.
First, on a serious note, I think at some point in time in the future, the town may want to consider the concert. On a less serious note, I see an opportunity for revenue if we put in a parking ramp. Never mind. Okay, are we?
With a bridge.
With, or a tunnel.
So we'll get as many people to sign on to this as we can.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I think people right now, some they will do it.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to table ordinance 916, pending the report back from the administrator. Is there a second? All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Snow plowing, Ellison Bluff Park. Who's got it?
Parks and Property, this has been a request in order to make that park accessible during the winter. And the county could be obligated to plow it, but is not necessarily keen on doing that. And I thought where we were was that we were going to suggest that the town would do it just a limited number of times, and then get reimbursed for that limited number by the county.
We have budgeted a limited amount for plowing,
No, that was taken out.
but it was taken out.
That was taken out of the budget.
Well, if it was still there, if it would be contingent on the fact that the county would reimburse us. Now, my understanding is that this particular item is in the county budget, but they don't have a budget yet. So I have no idea where that's going.
Well, the background on this is that we had two people request this. And then this came to the town board, and Lou made a motion, which was forwarded to the highway, or the Parks Committee, I believe, to have the county plow Ellison Bay Bluff Park. The mention was made that the town pays 14% of the county budget and felt that this would be, should be included. We didn't make any commitment to plow. There was a Airport and Parks Committee meeting at which time a couple of people went down and expressed their desire down there also to have it plowed. And as I understand it, they put $1,200 in the budget to reimburse the town if the town would plow it. And they took money from another part of their budget before they presented it to the county, if that's the correct procedure. So, that's basically where it is. And we told, they wanted an estimate, somebody wanted an estimate of how much it would cost to plow the park. If the town would do it, then with time and machine, we estimated $200 per event.
And that figure is based on the fact that you cannot get in there with a big plow because of the trees that are in the road. So the only way you can plow that is with a pickup truck with a plow attached to it.
And that's why the county doesn't want to do it, because they can't get their big trucks in there, and they don't have any small trucks up here servicing other parks in the wintertime.
Plus, you know, the roadway itself is pretty degraded right by the trees themselves. It's like a landmine field.
Don't we grade that, or?
I don't think you get a grader through there, that's the problem.
I went down to the committee meeting a few weeks ago and suggested to them that it's our opinion that the road needs improving. We've been, after the Airport and Parks people for a number of years to raise that road up for drainage purposes, because right now the water sits in the road and you get potholes. It doesn't hold up. So nothing's been done on that level, and I think it might have been presented to the county highway committee at one point. I don't know if that got anywhere, or if it did go there. I was going to go to that meeting, but I didn't get down there.
So we are limbo.
We are. We don't know what's gonna happen until the county passes their budget, and we've eliminated it. Timeout.
I talked to, the guy in here.
Yep.
I talked to Eric and I asked him if their budget has been passed. He said yes. So in their budget they do. Mr. City is also in our audience. He sits on that committee at the county level. He may be able to offer some insight, but Eric did say that it did get approved.
By the committee.
I asked him if the county approved it. He said yes.
But like Gary said, the county
And
board,
I was specific with him about that, and he said yes.
the county board doesn't meet on the budget until the 15th, so I don't know that it's gone through the county board yet. Maybe it's a rubber stamp, I don't know.
Okay, when we get public input done, we'll ask you to comment on this, please. Okay, so moving on to item number 9.
Can I just say one thing, John?
Go ahead.
I would be in favor of keeping it, or fixing it up. I think it'd be a step in the right direction.
Okay, we have resolution 1016, section 125, premium only plan. Janet, this basically is,
It's standard, it's, in order for us to have a premium reduction from payroll before taxes, the government now requires you to be audited by a company, and that's this company. They require a resolution that you accept them.
is there any question on the resolution?
Just a typo in the third line.
Typo third line, John. Which is,
The word suck,
oh, yeah.
instead of such.
Resolution sucks.
Okay, then.
Is that a legal term?
A resident librarian would pick that out right away.
Freudian slip.
Okay, we will change that. Anything else anybody has? Okay, then I'll move approval of Town of Liberty Grove Resolution 1016, participation in Section 125 premium only plan. For a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public input.
Sure, line in the second inning,
Tied in the second inning?
line
Oh,
in the second, Cubs are winning 1-0.
okay.
Oh, no, no, no.
Okay, Carl's going home.
Mr. Chairman, I have two comments. Should I cover both right now?
Sure.
I'm a little bit confused, because normally you let us speak before each agenda item. Is this something that's, are we changing procedure here?
Well, it was an error. Normally, this would occur earlier.
First of all, I'm speaking on item number 7, ordinance 916. I want to say that personally, I agree with everything that Supervisor Boss said and all the comments expressed at this forum. Actually, it's worse than what you stated, because you come out of Ellison Bay at 30 miles an hour. At the hill, it goes to 45 miles an hour. At the top of the hill, it goes to 55 miles an hour. Everybody knows that. So they're stepping on the accelerator before they have clear visibility at the top of the hill. So it's an accident waiting to happen. We all realize that. The second thing, that I read this ordinance, it's a solution, but it's the wrong solution, because it makes everything worse going out than what you have right now, because basically you're going to prevent people from parking on the west side of Highway 42. So they're all going to park on the east side of Highway 42, and they're going to be parking at Humbug Road, at Grandview Goods, and they're going to have more people crossing the road than what you've got now. So this is not the proper solution. You know, I realize you guys are in a quandary because we don't have the property over there that we can put a parking lot on, because, you know, the Hanson Farm is still in private ownership, and the Door County Land Trust prevents you from doing certain things. But this isn't the solution. This isn't where you want to go. You know, you want to do what is admittedly, you could have signs saying, please enter further down the road. I don't know if that's going to be effective, but personally, I don't think it is. Human nature is, they're driving north, they see that glorious view, it's an impulse thing, it's like shopping. Oh, let's pull over and grab a picture, it's just gorgeous. And that's what happens. You can't stop that. So you have to give these people a place to park at the point where they're most interested in parking. So that's my comment on that, for what it's worth. On the plowing number 8, on the plowing of the Ellison Bay Bluff Park, my personal opinion is, I'm making 2 comments. There are plenty of local people up here. I personally use John Fitzgerald, that would love to be able to plow that road, and would do it for maybe less than $200 a pop. So go out and maybe get an estimate from some of these people, and forget about, let Door County reimburse us and hire it out to the local people where they keep the money local, you know, let them thrive a little bit. The reason I'm saying this is I don't want big trucks in there, because we love that one tree that's in the middle of the road. It's there, and we've always had it there. We like seeing it there, and we don't want it cut down so that the Door County can get their big trucks in there. Okay?
Thank you. Don?
Thank you, Chairman Lowry and board members. In case you don't all know, I'm Don City. I'm representing District 19, which is part of Liberty Grove and part of Bailey's Harbor. I also serve on the Airport and Parks Committee. And getting back to what Mr. Collins was stating, has any of you received this draft of the agreement?
Not that we're aware of.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm a little confused with that because,
we have the draft.
Oh, you do?
We have the draft.
because in there, Mr. Collins states that Eric, which is the Airport and Parks Director, thanks for the information, we'll be reviewing it. Please be advised that the town board, which is you, has not as of this date made a decision on whether to plow or not to plow the park. That will be on an upcoming agenda. I think there has been an assumption that the town is anxious to plow the park, but there has been no decision and vote on that subject. Once that happens, we will let you know the outcome. That's been done. What happened in the Airport and Parks Committee, and part of this draft resolution states in, excuse me, paragraph B, the county will pay the town $200 per snow ice event, not to exceed the sum of $1,200 for the winter of 2016-2017. So, in other words, for the county to come up and plow that park, even though we go by with the big trucks, as it's stated in your conversation, the truck is kind of big to do that. Also, we thought that seeing Porcupine Bay Road is plowed by you, that you could swing in there real easy on any given snowstorm and do that much more cheaper and quicker than the county could do. As far as the potholes there, I did take a run on there, I took a drive on there the other day, and right now there is potholes in that road beyond the blacktop. I did call Eric, the Parks Director, inform him of the potholes being there. And he said it was good to know, and that he's gonna look into it, perhaps getting it graded yet this fall before the winter weather sets in. I'm not promising that he's gonna do that, but that was my conversation with him. So, as far as the Airport and Parks Committee, we did have a couple people from the town of Liberty Grove come to our meeting requesting this particular issue be resolved and have the park open during the winter months. So that's kind of where it's left right now. As far as the monies, it's true that the county budget has not been approved yet. The county budget is approved on November 15th. However, according to all the hoops and so forth, the Airport and Parks Committee approved it. And what we approved is we sent it on to the Door County Administrator and Airports Director and so forth to draw up some type of intergovernmental agreement going through our Corporation Council, so on and so forth, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. So that's the stage we are with this particular situation. So then it goes to the Finance Committee, and then we're going to approve it on November 15th, as Mr. Council stated. So that's where we are with this. Any questions?
Just to make it clear, I did get a sample agreement from, I think Eric sent it up, that Grant Thomas had drawn up, and I haven't distributed it yet because I was waiting for a decision on the part of the board, yes or no, whether to go. And if it does get approved that the board wants to do it, then we'll work out this agreement, which from our end needs a little tweaking, but that would come after board action.
Even though you're right, we do plow Porcupine Bay Road, we have the same problem that you have, in that our large trucks plows, which plow porcupine, cannot get in that road, which means you have to go in there with a pickup truck.
Or widen the road by trees.
Cut down the tree and, widen the road.
Well, I don't wanna get into your equipment or anything, but I assume that you must have a pickup truck with a plow that you do for little areas and so forth.
Yep.
Just our Bailey's Harbor has.
But we don't use a pickup truck on Porcupine Bay Road. We use a big plow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, please? Kathy, please?
Do not have to give names and addresses, and
Please.
Kathy Ward, 1826 East Green Road. On the Grandview view, the northbound traffic is just as hazardous. I usually go to work up at the shoreline, coming down Humbug, and then make that right onto 42, going down into Ellison Bay, and a number of times, I make that trip about 8 times a week. And at this time of year, the last couple of weeks, there have been people parked down the hill on that east side, crossing the road when I go to make that turn down. And I gotta think that people coming north on the highway have as difficult a time as seeing people as I do when I'm making that turn onto 42. Otherwise, I just wanted to let everybody know that I've been faithfully attending tourism zone meetings, which for me is actually only every other month. They've been making progress with the Airbnb situation. And then most recently, other than the day-to-day work, they did send out a survey. I don't know, did you receive that survey or participated in it? A survey of all the permits. So all the lodging people that have been permitted, they were looking for ideas that, considering that the lodging providers are customers, so to speak, of the tourism zone, are there difficulties with the filing? How would you like the filing to be different? Have a pretty good idea of the number of lodging providers that are just, say, 2 to 4 room units, and then the numbers that are larger units, even though the only 17% or so of the lodging providers have the larger units, but they have by far the most number of units. Anyway, so trying to figure out a way to make that filing process easier, and trying to get an idea of what the understanding of the difference between the work that the tourism zone does versus the Ventura County Visitor Bureau. And that was quite interesting to see the amount of confusion about that, which is sort of reflected in the amount of confusion of where does all the money go and then come from. So anyway, that's what's been going on there.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Anybody else, please? Okay, operator license.
Did Peter want to say something?
Oh, I'm sorry, Peter.
Peter Sauer, 11629 Meadowood Lane, Ellison Bay. I'd like to speak on the parking on the Grandview Hill. Give you some thoughts about possible future approaches on this. Would be nice to have some cameras up there that are taking pictures of people that are parking there, and then reviewing the license plates and finding out who they are and sending a letter with a photo in the letter saying, you were illegally parked here. And then putting some signs up that say, you're under surveillance if you park in this area. So, I don't know, you could come up with some ideas there in the future that this might have to a little bit more than what we personally are able to do. So, thank you.
Good, thank you. Anybody else?
I did see on the Hill deal last week, there were some people having a very good time there. One person was standing taking a picture towards the bay, and there was a guy standing up like this, holding up a Donald Trump sign.
Yeah.
They were laughing and taking pictures, they were really enjoying it.
Okay,
What do you RPC with that?
There's
no operator light? Okay, we'll go on and just briefly pause for a moment of silence because we've eliminated number 12. Thank you. Future meetings.
As far as election time goes, absentee voting is going on this week, also called early voting by many, 8:30 until 4 o'clock, and that will end on Friday.
How's it going, Bob?
We have 1/3 of our registered voters have voted so far.
Really?
Approaching the 600 mark.
Good.
Also, Friday from 3:30 to 5:30, there's a hazardous waste collection at the Suktabay Fire Station. We have a flyer here that says what can and cannot be dropped off. That's 3:30 to 5:30 this Friday. The Plan Commission is scheduled to meet on the 9th, next Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
to be determined.
If necessary. Finance Committee meets with the town board on the 15th at 6:30. Town board on the 16th at 7 o'clock.
What times?
Finance?
I haven't found that.
6:30 on Tuesday the 15th.
Thank you.
And that's pretty much it for the month. The town offices will be closed on the 24th and 25th. And no plan commission on the 23rd.
Okay, before I move to adjourn, I would like to share with you rule number 497. It comes from Muriel Siebert, who happens to be a businesswoman. Quote, when a door is hard to open, and if nothing else works, sometimes you just have to rear back and kick it open. End quote. I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
She was actually the first woman member of the New York Stock Exchange.
Of the which?
She was the first female member of the New York Stock Exchange.
Oh.
A very prominent woman.